Welcome in, everybody. It is the Mountaineers Now postgame show presented by Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation. I'm Scott Callahan. Joined with me, as always, former Mountaineer running back Eugene Napoleon. Eugene, I know you're nodding. Go ahead and tell me how wrong I am. West Virginia wins it 23-20. How about that? The first time that West Virginia has defeated Oklahoma since becoming a member of the Big 12. Before we get into our thoughts, let's run through some of the stats here. West Virginia, I thought, had a very balanced attack offensively, although it was kind of dominated on the running game. 406 total yards, 203 passing, 203 rushing, split right down the middle. Much better on third down today, 7 of 19 compared to Oklahoma's 1 of 11. Now let's focus on the individual stats. For West Virginia, JT Daniels got the start as expected, but did not remain in the game. He struggled once again, 7 of 12, threw an interception. Garrett Greene comes in relief and has arguably one of the most memorable performances from a Mountaineer quarterback in quite a while. Didn't put up huge numbers, but for the fact that, I guess, given the situation, pretty impressive. 12 of 22, 138 through the air and a touchdown. And he also ran for 119 yards and 2 scores. And Jasir Cox had 12 tackles as well on the defensive side. And how about Eric Gray? 211 yards and 2 touchdowns on 25 carries for the Sooners. So there you have it. There's your stats. Gene, just go ahead and tell me. Tell me how wrong I am.
Well, listen, I'm going to be easy on you.
Hey, because remember now, on the Walkthrough Game Day show, your screen was split. You said your head was thinking somewhere and your heart was thinking somewhere else. So.
This is true. Well, now it's no longer split. We're going to go the head and the heart met.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Listen, I normally, you know me when it comes to players, I normally don't do this, but I have to do this. I have to celebrate this young man. Garrett Greene is the man. Now, if you can remember when first off, I had the pleasure with you to interview him when he first committed to West Virginia. You remember that?
That's right.
I liked that young man. I liked his swag. I liked his moxie from the first time we interviewed him. What a tremendous baller. One of them days, man, I have to admit, he had a Major Harris type day. Okay? Because throwing for 138, running the ball for 118, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air. Are you kidding me? That's a heck of a day, man. Listen, I don't care what league you play in, what level you play on. That's a heck of a day. That's a heck of a day. So I'm very happy for him and the commitment that he made to stay and stick it out in Morgantown. I'm even happier for that because most kids, given the situation, given the transfer portal, he would have been out. I'm so glad he has the type of heart to stay, battle, compete, because he is a competitor, and look at what he was blessed with today. Just outstanding. I'm very happy for the team. I'm happy for Coach Brown. I'm happy for that staff. I'm happy for our state. I'm happy for the university. What say you, my guy? What say you?
I got to admit, I was wrong. But, again, I don't think I was the only one. You know, I think West Virginia coming into this one was scuffling, obviously, offensively. We didn't know how, if at all, they could even get things turned around in time for this game. And to be honest, I don't think they would have had they not made that change to go to Garrett Greene, because it looked like JT Daniels was still off for whatever reason and could just never get anything going. So the move to go to Garrett Greene, they went back to JT Daniels at one point, and then that was it. They did it for, I think, maybe one drive, and then Garrett Greene came back in the game, and he led the charge the rest of the way. So I'll say this. Neil Brown, I haven't done this much, but I will be straight up and admit my wrongs or whatever, but I will do this. Tip of the hat. Because for a coach that probably clearly knows he's on the hot seat, right, that the pressure's on to win football games and to win them now. For him to make a bold change like that at quarterback, to go from JT Daniels to Garrett Greene in a game where they have to win, that's huge. I think that's not an easy call to make, especially when you got a guy like Daniels who's been around for a while. He's kind of proven to this point. You know what he's going to give you, even if he's been struggling. There's a lot of unknowns with Garrett Greene. So I think that you got to give credit to Neil Brown for making that move.
There's a lot of unknowns where? You don't see – There's a lot of unknowns where. You don't see this man in
Oh, I
practice?
mean, but coming into today though, we had no idea.
I'm
The only games
saying,
we saw Garrett Greene was Towson and Long Island and stuff like that. So I think for him to
here's
actually come in and do it in a big game,
here's what I'm going to say to you. Here's why these guys get paid the money they get paid. Because you're supposed to evaluate him every single day in practice. You're evaluating him every single day in the meeting room. You're evaluating him when you go through and you're going through through the whole week. You're going through the game plan and you're seeing how he's adjusting and how he's going through his process every single day. So you should already know what you have. And if you don't know what you have, here's where I get ticked off with some of these, these coaches who are getting paid all this daggone money and they're not delivering. If you don't know what you have, and this young man is what, two years in the system, and you don't know what you have, then therein lies a much bigger problem with your staff.
well,
This is check this out. This ain't no surprise to me. I'm not even on their staff. I'm not surprised.
Now, I want to ask you this since you brought it up. Is it almost kind of a semi-bad look that Garrett Greene comes in and instantly there's this huge spark to the offense? And I mean, maybe he should have been the quarterback all along.
Now, you want me to answer that honestly?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. My point is, you have to know what you have at every position. And you got to know pass too deep. Pass too deep. You know why? Because barring injury, you have to know 3 deep where you are at every position. That's the job of a coach, of a head coach. That's the job of a DC, a OC. That's the job of your position coaches. You have to know almost 3 deep what you really have at every position. So there is no surprise in my mind that this young man, he's a baller. I don't care if he's this big. He's a baller.
He might be that big.
I'm just saying, and you have to know that. Okay, I'm sitting here in New Jersey, and I know that Garrett Greene is a baller.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. How many times have I mentioned that young man's name over the course of the last year and a half? Honestly,
I mean, I know we did a lot last year for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
he's a bona fide winner. He has what you call the it factor, where you really can't describe it. You just know when you put him on the field, he's going to make something happen. There's a lot of players who have those type of intangibles that you can't describe it. Just put the ball in his hands and let him play. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be more positives than negatives. Of course, you're going to make some mistakes or whatever. But my point is 138 yards passing, $118 on the ground, 21 points he accounted for. Come on, man. Stop it. Yeah, it's a bad man right there.
And to kind of go off of that, I think before the game started, there was all these things happening. Even on ESPN College Game Day, they were talking about Neil Brown, Shane Lyons, the situation that's kind of been unfolding there, and how those 2 guys may be on the hot seat, especially if they were to have lost today. How fitting was it, though, that the guy, the very first kid to commit to Neil Brown is the one to essentially save his job, at least for another week. Now, again, this does not by any means mean that Neil Brown is 100% completely safe. They're still 4-6. But for him to come in this situation, to provide the energy, to provide the spark, the leadership, and I think it's so fitting.
Everything you need, that's what that man, that's a Mountaineer for you, man. Listen,
how about the emotion that came out of him on that final drive, but when he got those 2 first down runs, and he knew it. He's like, all right, Casey Leggs going to come in and knock this chip shot in and win it for us. Just the emotion, the energy, that's something we haven't seen out of a quarterback in West Virginia
in a long time. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm not ashamed to say it, I pulled a hamstring. You understand? I was in my house jumping. I pulled a hamstring. My left hamstring is shot right now. I feel like I was out there playing. But that's how excited I was for him and for our program, to be honest with you. When it's a great day, no matter where you are, to be a Mountaineer, period. but especially when you win in the fashion in which they won this game, I am beyond proud and happy. That's the way you're supposed to play. They fought every single play. They did what they had to do when they won this football game. For me, I can't be as proud. That's the way you're supposed to play, man. Honestly.
Now, on the other side, how disappointing do you have to be if you're an Oklahoma fan or if you're Brent Venables? I mean, you had Eric Gray rush for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. It seemed like in that first half, they were moving the ball up and down the field in West Virginia. They just kept stalling out, and they couldn't find points. What was the biggest issue you saw today from Oklahoma that kind of kept them back from winning this game?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Listen, I wouldn't care if he ran for 300 yards. The bottom line is they didn't win. So I would, I'm sorry, I would trade in the stats for a win any day of the week and become bowl eligible. Okay.
Yeah.
You came to Morgantown thinking one thing and you left thinking something totally different. So I personally think some of the calls, they got a little cute when they got in the red zone. They got a little cute. The bottom line is you do what you did to get there. So don't switch up nothing. That young man is a bell cow. Continue to ride him into the end zone. Okay, you don't get down there and start throwing the ball, get cute. No, that's not what you do. Yeah. That's not how So I think it's little things for me that allowed them to lose this game. But I'm not going to speak highly on Oklahoma as much as I'm going to speak on. There's certain plays that West Virginia made that put them in that position to begin with.
Yeah.
When our defense needed to bow its back, it did. When our offense needed to make plays, it did. So bottom line, I don't care nothing about Oklahoma. Let's talk about the Mountaineers.
And how about even the special teams? Well, not obviously Casey like getting the chip shot field goal, but Sam James, he busted back a couple of big kickoff returns too. So, and Oliver Straw had a pretty nice day punting the ball as well. So really, I don't know if I want to give a lot of credit to the defense because they could have played better. No doubt about that. But like you said, they made plays when they needed to. It's kind of similar to the Baylor game. They didn't give up 40 points in this one. Right. But it's kind of a bend, don't break kind of a game for them. So that's going to do it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the road ahead for West Virginia. And it's not much of a road. There's only 2 games left in the season. They wrap up their home schedule next week against Kansas State. And then they wrap up the regular season on the road in Stillwater against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who are kind of scuffling along here down the final stretch of the season. So I ask you this, Gene. And I think I know your answer. Is Garrett Greene the starting quarterback of this team moving forward? And if so, do you think West Virginia can get the bowl eligibility?
I'm going to say this to you. You need a spark at that position. We now have a spark at that position. Not taking nothing away. If he's at quarterback, it gives your offense a different dimension. So do we have to clean some things up in the passing game? Absolutely. Obviously we do. But his overall package, the way he plays that position, that's what's missing and that's what's needed at that position. You put him in as a quarterback, it opens up a lot of different things because it gives, on the other side, the defense, it gives them something extra to worry about, his legs. He can beat you with his legs. So at the end of the day, do I think right now, these next 2 games, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? You start him these last 2 games, see what you got, and you might be surprised that you end up bowl eligible.
Yeah. And
number 6, I'm just saying, with number 6 at quarterback, I'm just saying.
Now, let's be honest. If you beat Oklahoma, go in a stretch where you beat Oklahoma, you beat a Kansas State team who's really in the mix for the Big 12 championship spot right now, and Oklahoma State, who's I guess you could also say is in that same conversation, and you get to a bowl game, say you win the bowl game. I know I'm getting way ahead of myself here, but if you were to rattle off 4 straight wins, 3 in the regular season to get the bowl eligibility, and then win the bowl game. I mean, that's a whole different ball game.
You can't. I know what you're saying, and no, you can't. Because then it would make it look as though, wait a minute now, okay, even though it was late, a rally is a rally, correct?
Yeah.
When and we talked about winning games. So and I know what everybody else will say, no, it's still, if that happens, and number 6 is at quarterback, the question may be then, why wasn't he starting earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. And I get that. That would be a legitimate question. If all of that happens, that would be a legitimate question. My point would be now you would almost have to bring that staff back to see what's going to happen with number 6 at QB moving forward. Because usually a game like this for a young man like Greene, that's all it takes. And I personally see, I think a star was born right in front of our eyes today on television. And guess what? Everybody got a chance to see it. So now you can't put toothpaste back in the tube, baby. Everybody got a chance to see it. Okay, let's stop playing. Leave that young man where he's at, and let's see what happens from here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next week against Kansas State. We'll take it one game at a time. Again, I think, like I said, Neil Brown's not 100% safe yet, but I don't think he's maybe as on the hot seat as what he was entering today. That kind of cooled off just a little bit.
Seat's warm.
Seat's warm. Yeah.
The seat is warm. You understand? He can sit on it. Going into the game, I don't know now. Going into the game, you couldn't touch the seat, but he could. It's warm. He can sit on it. Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just see what happens.
Yep. So that's going to do it for today's Mountaineers Now postgame show. Again, West Virginia with their first win over Oklahoma since entering the Big 12, 23-20, off the leg of Casey Legg. How about that? So,
absolutely.
You see what I did there? You see what I did?
I see what you did there.
So make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Mountaineers Now. Follow us on Twitter, Mountaineers Now, myself at Callahan_Eugene and Napoleon_Eugene. We've got an action-packed week next week for you. Eugene's got his Relatively Sports show on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. We've also got the West Virginia basketball game against Morehead State at 7 o'clock. We'll have the post-game show for that. And then also we'll have our walkthrough game day show on Thursday at 6 p.m. as well. So action-packed week. We'll be here for it. So make sure to come back, hit that subscribe button, and follow along. We'll see you guys next week.
Let's go.